Hello, and welcome back to the Thursday Night Kissaten podcast. Thursday Night Kissaten is a podcast that we talk about Japanese TV shows, movies, books, and other pop cultures. We update weekly every Thursday night around 5 p.m. This podcast is written and hosted by me, Cordelia. Hello, my dear listeners, and welcome back to the Thursday Night Kissaten podcast. I hope you are doing well. This is already the second week of November. It's so fast. You know, in the Western society, it's not really common for people to feel that they need to live up to their parents' expectations. Most of the people that I have met in North America are focused on living for themselves, pursuing their own dreams and passions. There are often a very clear boundary or boundaries between the individuals and their families. However, in East Asia, living up to one's parents' expectations is a very significant goal for many. There's no bad or good. I think it's just a difference. So today we're going deep into the movie She Is Noble, あのこは貴族, to explore how girls from different social classes in Tokyo choose the direction of their own lives. Spoiler alert, if you plan to watch the movie She Is Noble or read the book, you might want to pause here and come back after you have done so. About the story. This story unfolds in 4 parts: Tokyo, outsiders, gathering, and a year later. In the part 1, Tokyo. As the year draws to close, many outsiders return to their own hometowns, visiting their family, and leaving the streets of Tokyo unusually quiet. Our main character, Hanako, a 27-year-old woman born and raised in Tokyo, is rushing to a family New Year gathering. The taxi driver, who is impressed by the luxury hotel and events she's going to attend, keeps chatting, but Hanako isn't interested. She recently gone through a breakup, and her family expecting her to bring her fiancé to the gathering. When she arrives at the luxury hotel, her family is already there, but when they see she's alone, they're so disappointed, and the atmosphere becomes intense. So the conversation at the dinner table quickly shifts to a new potential marriage prospect for Hanako. The candidate is the son of a plastic surgeon with a solid family background, and he works at a private hospital in Tokyo. Hanako has 2 sisters. The older one is a lawyer, and the younger one who is divorced, but also a doctor herself. But because she is a female, she's not eligible to inherit the family business. The business is a hospital. And they told her to find an ordinary person to marry, and that person has to match their family stats. Hanako's mother continues to pressure her at the dinner table and saying that you are already 27 years old. Are you really planning to date slowly and wait for someone to propose? Are you sure you will get married at the right age that you can still give birth to a baby? During the family photo session that follows, the atmosphere is cheerful, but Hanako's heart remains very heavy. She felt sad that she could not match or chase her parents' expectations. Most Hanako's friends are already married or engaged. They're from the same social class family. Their regular social activities involve discussing arts, travels, and their children's education in high-end restaurants. But only a few friends, including a friend named Itsuko, who is a musician who received the education overseas, are not yet considering marriage or want to live their life independently. Itsuko refused to bond by traditional family expectations. That's why, around this gathering with all her friends, they all start matchmaking for Hanako. Hanako goes on several blind dates with a different man, a playboy, a socially awkward doctor, and a man from a lower class, based on their definition. But none of these attempts at matchmaking succeed. And not too long after, Hanako expects an invitation from a colleague to meet on a rainy day. This new person, Shinichiro, is a handsome and steady man, quite different from all the previous dates that Hanako went. They shared a quiet dinner, talked about the lives at the moment. Shinichiro mentions that all the important days in his life been having raining, which made Hanako think he is extremely romantic. As they part ways, Shinichiro politely talks about his favorite movies and says that he plans to revisit them. When Hanako encouraged to ask that if they can meet again, Shinichiro smiles and agrees, and making Hanako feels like everything is finally moving to a positive direction. And then soon after, Hanako and Shinichiro officially began dating. But however, Shinichiro's family's background confused Hanako, where she was not ready to receive those informations. Shinichiro's family has a long history in the shipping industry and is considered part of the upper class. Although Hanako is unfamiliar with the concept of upper class, even though she is one of the members of it, her friend Itsuko explains that the children from such a family are groomed from a young age for future political careers, which adds to Hanako's concerns. They're actually a class called superclass. Despite some worries, Hanako and Shinichiro's relationship developed smoothly. They enjoyed a very sweet romantic time. Hanako received a proposal from Shinichiro, and it was that night that Hanako received the proposal. She found out a girl named Miki messaged Shinichiro. Part 2, The Outsiders. So the story shifts to Miki, a girl from a small town who, like many others, returns home for the New Year's. Miki's experience of threading of make a life in Tokyo has exposed her to the pursuits of a city life. She worked hard, extremely hard, to get into the prestigious university in Tokyo, the Keio University. And it was at there that she felt this difference between the class herself and her classmates from the inner circle. Those people who called themselves inner circle or being called by as inner circle were those people who attended Keio University's kindergarten and all the way from kindergarten to university. And all of them, including Ichihiro, they are the people who are in the superclass. Miki's family is also far from perfect. Her brother lives in a very hands-off lifestyle, and her parents' expectations just for her to with the reality of her life in Tokyo. Miki only stayed at the Keio University for 2 years because her dad lost his job, and she was forced to work in the nightclub part-time as a hostess than to earn money for her own tuition fee. She felt isolated and unsupported. There's no support for her from the family, and soon that she realized that it was too hard to make the life with just working part-time in the nightclub, so she dropped out of school. Miki returns to the hometown during the new year for school reunion. She dresses beautifully, but when she meets her old classmates, she feels a sense of alienation. Although they share a story and they live in Tokyo, but feel so different. Despite their common small town region, she still feels like the life choices and lifestyles have been greatly different. After withdrawal from university, Miki stays in Tokyo, still keep on working at nightclub. Though the life in the city is challenging, she still hopes to carve out a place for herself through her own efforts, because at home there were no supports financially, emotionally. She realized that no matter where she lives, the most important thing is to find the inner peace and satisfaction. And at the nightclub, Miki meets Shinichiro at there. And they were classmates at KO once, and they became friends and were just in bed. And they had that kind of relationship for 10 years. For Shinichiro, Miki is actually escape for him from his own family pressure, that he can actually be himself in front of Miki. After discovering the special relationship between Shinichiro and Miki, we came to the part 3 gathering. Hanako's friend Itsuko invites both women for tea. Itsuko's intention is to foster an open and peaceful conversation between them. And actually the conversation indeed goes so well, especially for Miki, who expresses that her passion is not only about the romance, but also for her career and the future she wants to build. Miki breaks up with Shinichiro and reunites with her friend from the hometown and start a business in Tokyo together. As for Hanako, she chooses to stay in the marriage, but slowly realizes that the purpose of this marriage is simply to fulfill the social expectations. She expected to have a baby, but her husband does not love her for a single moment. Hanako finds herself sitting alone in a taxi, gazing out at Tokyo streets one day after visiting the doctor about the situation that she couldn't have a baby. And in that moment, she doesn't even know who she is anymore. There's no purpose. Then she spots Miki passing by on a bike and decides to stop her. After that, Hanako follows Miki to her apartment. And it was there, at that small, cozy, Tokyo-style apartment, that room, filled with the mismatched dishes and photos, and Hanako's sister Miki's life is full of choice and freedom. She tells Miki that everything in this room belongs to Miki, and that's the realization that profoundly impacts her. After that visit, Hanako decides to divorce. About the original work and the writer. This movie is adapted from the novel She Is Noble, あのこは貴族, and written by the writer Mariko Yamauchi, and was first published in the year 2019. Mariko Yamauchi was born in Toyama City, and after graduating from Osaka University of Arts, she moved to Tokyo. And in 2005, about a year and a half after moving to Tokyo, her work, 16 is the Age for Sex, won the Reader's Award. Her works often focus on the theme of female relationships, and the relationship with the close friends from university have had a significant impact on her writing. The part in the movie and also in the book, that where Itsuko invites Hanako and Miki together for an open conversation, left a massive impression on me. Because this is the first time that I have seen such a healthy way of handling a situation like that. Usually, to create it the most dramatic way, like a lot of those Koreans and Chinese and other Japanese TV shows that they like to pursue is a woman fighting for the man's attention. That's actually is internalized, misogynistic, can be manifested in that way. But this one is when they sit down, pour tea for each other, and Miki was saying that she has a dream for herself to build her own business and her own life. I remember how deeply touched I was by that 5 minutes. That 5 minutes. It was powerful. In the final part of the story, the movie, a year later, Hanako becomes her friend Isuko's manager. Miki and her friend's startup takes off, and Shinichiro continues to work his way up in the political world. Some comments I have read about this movie mention that there is no clear resolution for forceful conclusion, and there is no resolution for a class issue like this. Of course there are no solutions. As we mentioned before. But what I see is Hanako's learning about herself and gaining the ability to live independently. And while Miki managed to carve out a life in Tokyo, also independently. In Asia, well, I only can write about what I know, right? I know that in East Asia, it's very difficult for women to lead an independent life. Also in North America. As we discussed in the previous episodes, we mentioned this a lot, the poverty, the female's poverty, isn't it? But by the end of the story, a year later, both Hanako and Miki seems they're getting there. Thank you again for listening to this episode, and please feel free to share your thoughts with us. And this episode is written and produced by me, Cordelia, and I hope to talk to you soon again in our next one.